Empezamos bueno, la persona que comenzó a hacer el canto lo comenzó a hacer como se dice en las oraciones católicas en latín, y le puso ese acento. Entonces no.
It's a beautiful voice. He's a cantor hired by the church in León. Beautiful voice,
Sí.
So I asked him to try to experiment. I said, So when he started, I saw a few of them, who have been chanting with us this way, immediately look at me and say, please, stop.
He didn't say it.
You didn't use words, okay? You didn't use words, but the eyes I can read, no need translation, like, stop, get him to stop.
Sí, lo que pasó, el que lo hizo realmente es un buen cantante en Guatemala, y que realmente hasta la iglesia en León lo han contratado, ¿ya? Y entonces él comenzó a cantar y con una linda voz, pero parecía que estábamos oyendo oraciones católicas en latín, porque la forma en que lo hizo, o sea, el ritmo que tomó era el que se usa en latín, no el que usamos aquí en Drikung en tibetano, que es más como parejito, ¿verdad? No hace esas subidas que hace al final.
Yeah, not just Drikung, like all Buddhist chants, So what was interesting really is when he did it the way he knew it, right? He was experimenting. It all ends with going up, right? La 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 la. Right? It goes up. And it really shows like that is at the heart of their religion, going somewhere else. We remain grounded, Yeah, you can understand, right? Yeah, no need to translate.
El ritmo, vieron cómo era diferente. En latín va así parejo y al final siempre sube un poquito el ritmo. En cambio, no solo en el Drikung, sino que en todas las
Buddhists.
Todas las budistas, por eso, solo en todas las budistas siempre es así. O sea, no se va para otro lugar como en el latín, sino que nos quedamos aquí en la tierra.
So here is one recording of, not that one, but someone who is familiar with the way we've been chanting this in Spanish. Let me play for you. Yeah.
Va a poner a una persona que practica el budismo y lo cantó más como los budistas.
I forgot which chant this is. Let me see.
Todas las madres, seres sensibles, ilimitadas como el espacio, especialmente los enemigos que me odian, los obstructores que me dañan, aquellos que obstaculizan mi progreso hacia la liberación y la omnisciencia, que experimentan felicidad y que se ven separados del sufrimiento, pueda rápidamente establecerlos en el estado insuperable, perfecto y completo del preciado despertar. Todas las madres.
So look at the Spanish if you have. Maybe you can follow. This is the Tadamma. Opening recitation.
Es una de las oraciones.
Look at the first text. You don't have this translation. Yeah. So.
Sensibles, ilimitadas como el espacio, especialmente los enemigos que me odian, los obstructores que me dañan y aquellos que obstaculizan mi progreso hacia la liberación y la omnisciencia, que experimentan felicidad y que se vean separados del sufrimiento, que pueda rápidamente establecerlos en el estado insuperable, perfecto y completo del preciado despertar. Todas las madres, seres sensibles, ilimitadas como el espacio, especialmente los enemigos que me odian, los obstructores que me dañan y a aquellos que obstaculizan mi progreso hacia la liberación y la omnisciencia, que experimenten felicidad y que se vean separados del sufrimiento, pueda rápidamente establecerlos en el estado insuperable, perfecto y completo del preciado despertar.
Bien? Actually, Spanish is much nicer for chanting. English, barbaric language.
El
It's
español,
harder to make it sound right.
el español es más fácil de cantar, ¿ah? Tiene ese ritmo, mientras que el inglés no es tan fácil. Es un poco barbárico. Dice.
Yeah, it's a, anyway. So this evenness, just then yes, among Tibetan traditions, they say that the four lineages, the way they chant has some slight difference. For Kagyupas, we chant like the river flowing, a smooth river. So it just goes flowing.
Entre las cuatro formas que hay del budismo, hay diferencias no tan fuertes en la manera en que se canta, ¿ya? Por ejemplo, en el Drikung
Kagyu, General Kagyu.
En todos los Kagyupa, pareciera que es un río que fluye suavemente. Así es como se canta.
Then I think like Gelupas chant like marching.
Gelupas cantan como que estuvieran marchando.
I don't know, like maybe Sakyapas or Nyingmas, it's like a dance. Yeah, so there are variations. Yeah.
Sakyapas y Nigmas es como que estuvieran danzando.
Something like that. I don't remember which lineage, So Tibetans have this saying, Kagyupas chant like a slow river flowing, just very, it's kind of continuing. Yeah. So.
Que los Kagyupas sí, de los otros no está muy seguro, pues sí sabe que esas son las diferencias, pero no los pequeños detalles. Pero sí que los Kagyupa es como que es un río que va suavemente fluyendo, despacio, y todo va unido. Se fijan cómo todas las oraciones van unidas, es como que estuviera fluyendo todo el tiempo un río.
And as we chant, I think when we're in Jinjero, maybe I demonstrated this, right? Recent studies about the difference between when you're inhaling and you're exhaling shows that there is a difference, a clear difference. When you're inhaling, naturally your blood pressure goes up. When you're exhaling, naturally your blood pressure goes down. So that's just the natural cycle. And with each inhalation, your blood pressure goes up slightly. With exhalation, your blood pressure goes down.
Ya, está esto que es natural, que se puede ver ese fluir, de que cuando nosotros inhalamos sube un poco la presión y cuando exhalamos baja la presión. Y si como va fluyendo, realmente esto es más fluido.
With chanting, now we can, with this knowledge we have now, and when we look at chanting, you will see that what is going on in chanting is indirectly, right? That's not the main reason we chant, but the side effect. Indirectly, you are lowering your blood pressure.
O sea que según los estudios actuales, cuando uno canta, lo que está haciendo es bajando la presión.
Because in chanting, inhalation is short and quick, exhalation is slow and long.
Porque la inhalación es corta, mientras que la exhalación es larga y más despacio.
Yeah, so here, look at my hand, that's how I demonstrate this. So you can look at my hand, Yeah?
Miren su mano y con eso va a demostrar lo que está diciendo.
Dala dangwa jebe tra no par jebe ge tarpa dan tam je kembe bardu chopra jeba tam je ki so jebe ma nang ka dang nyam pe sen jen tam je dewa tam den tung yang tang zhe ner du la na me pa yang dabar sobe 장주 rinpoche to para ja. So exhalation is really slow, and you exhale everything because you're trying to get as many syllables in as you can, you know.
La exhalación es más larga porque uno está tratando como que de alguna manera aguantar todo, poder decir lo más posible en la exhalación, ¿verdad? Entonces se vuelve más larga.
Yeah, so.
O sea que bueno, it's good for health.
Yeah. Then you learn how to take deeper breaths and fast.
Y así se aprende a hacer inhalaciones más profundas y rápidas.
You expand, you know, your lungs.
Y eso hace que se expandan los pulmones.
Side effects, yeah.
Y son los efectos secundarios del cantar.
So then page 107. Now for this practice, now for this practice, basically this next section is saying you should take on the identity of Vajrayogini.
Esto lo que dice es que debemos de tomar la identidad de Vajrayogini.
Vajrayogini, Vajravarahi. Yeah?
Vajrayogini o Vajravarahi.
The way she's described here is she's standing on her left foot with her right foot raised and holding a Khatri knife on the right hand, and then Katanga on his left.
La forma
On her left.
La forma en que está descrita aquí, está parada con su pierna izquierda un poco inclinada, la pierna derecha hacia arriba, doblada hacia arriba, en la mano derecha, ¿cómo se diría? Como daga que tiene, la daga que tiene, sí, Khatri. Y la mano aquí con una, ¿cómo se llama? Kapala. Kapala, dice.
Yeah. So she holds a kapala on the left, and then with a katwanga staff as well.
Y aquí en la pierna izquierda aquí entre el brazo.
And then with a pig, a female, a sow face on her right side.
Y la cabeza de un, ¿qué podríamos decir? Cerdo. Sí, de un cerdo aquí a la derecha. Saliendo de su cabeza.
So on the PDF text, we are on page 4 in the PDF.
Estamos en la página 4 en el texto PDF. El Guru Yoga.
In the state of emptiness, the non-referential nature of all phenomena, on the seat of lotus, sun, moon, and corpse, as a brilliant red palm turns into Vajrayogini, red complexion, radiating with empty bliss, wrathful, with 3 eyes gazing towards the sky, right hand with a Khatri, left holding a blood-filled kapala. Her mouth is slightly open, tongue curled back and making the sound pem, and protruding from the right of her face is the face of a black sow. She is in the form of a 16-year-old with breasts swelling with bliss and adorned with the 5 bone ornaments and wearing garlands of flowers and
head.
Joyfully her
Right hand holds aloft the Vajrakatri, pointing towards the sky, and her left holds the blood-filled Kapala directly in front of her navel center, and held under her arm is glorious Heruka in the form of a Katwanga, dancing with her left leg standing upright and right bent, arisen within lights of empty bliss.
Then next in the space in front, it says above her head, but really in the space in front above her appears now the Guru Yoga field of accumulations, field of merit. So Gyobajik and Sunga. On his right is the first Chetsang Rinpoche. On his left is the first Chongsang Rinpoche, the sun and the moon, gurus of Drikung Kagyu, then surrounding all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and the great Mahasiddhas, all the Mahasiddhas of India and the masters in Tibet.
Luego, enfrente, arriba de su cabeza, pero enfrente, entonces está todo el campo del guru, donde está Jigten Sungon, y a su derecha está el primer Chetsang, a la izquierda está el primer Chetsung,
Chongsang.
Ya, el primer Chetsang. Y además están todos los Mahasiddhas, todos los Budas y Bodhisattvas y los maestros del linaje.
Both India and Tibet.
Tanto los de la India como los del Tíbet.
Then above her head in an expanse of 5-colored rainbow lights on a jeweled throne supported by lions, elephants, horses, peacocks and garudas in the center of a lotus free from the faults of samsara, and the sun and moon that eliminate the sufferings of cold and heat, the exalted mind of Sovereign Vajradhara, with the 7 attributes, the totality of the exalted speech of the Dharma of emptiness, of the perfection of wisdom, the exalted body of the perfect Buddhas, possessing the 10 powers, is Jigten Sungram, embodiment of the 3 jewels, Lord of the teachings, victorious Rinch and Bell, presence of the Dharmakaya, pleasing to those trainables on Bokakaya, blazing with the splendor of the major and minor marks and Nirmanakaya, glowing with reddish white light, Lord of the teachings, wearing the 3 dharma robes, a sleeveless shirt with the 7 noble riches, a meditation hat, symbolizing ceaseless empowerment, and a golden skirt of the complete 9 vehicles, right hand subduing the hordes of Maras by touching the ground, left in the mudra of the samadhi of immovable meditative equipoise. He sits in the Vajra posture, free from the extremes of samsara and nirvana. To his right and left are thrones, and on seats of lotus and moon are Avalokita in person, the Bodhisattva himself, Kuncharatna, dressed as a bhikshu, holding a crystal mala and a stalk of lotus. With his 2 hands to the left is Chogi Drakpa in the form of a bhikshu, with the 3 robes, Manjushri Saraha in person, holding a vajra and bell and a text and sword on lotuses.
are wearing the meditation hat symbolizing changelessness. They are like reflections of the one moon dancing on many waters. They are accompanied by the 85 accomplished masters of India and by an ocean of Kagyu-siddhas of Tibet, gathered in the main and intermediate directions like immeasurable clouds. With Jah, the hook of faith, draws in the wisdom beings from the expanse, with whom they arrive as the support of joy and kindness for wandering beings, with whom they abide as the joy of the business, compassion, with whom they move with the smiling demeanor, taming and caring for wandering beings with compassion. Please stay here with delight for the sake of wandering beings.
Now we do the sevenfold, what's known as the sevenfold puja, the worship, the veneration with 7 elements.
Siguiendo viene las 7 puyas, que son las 7 formas de veneración.
The 7 elements is paying homage with body, speech, and mind.
Uno de los 7 elementos es homage, ¿cómo se dice? Homenaje, prestar homenaje.
Second is to make offerings.
La segunda es dar ofrendas.
The third is to expose, to review our own faults.
La tercera es exponer nuestras propias faltas.
So that we can be done with them, not so that you beat yourself. Bad, bad, bad.
No es para castigarse, sino que para dejarlas ir.
Then the fourth is we rejoice in the good of shown in the example of the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, and all the good that exists in the world. We rejoice in it, we become encouraged by it, we become inspired by them.
La cuarta es regocijarnos por las buenas acciones, inspirarnos en ellas, en las buenas acciones de los Budas, Bodhisattvas.
Then the fifth is to request the Buddhas to teach the Dharma, return the Dharma.
El quinto es pedirle al Buda que nos enseñe, o sea, las enseñanzas.
By extension, to request all our teachers to teach.
Y por extensión, pedirle a todos nuestros maestros que nos den las enseñanzas.
Then the sixth is to request, ask that the Buddha not depart from the world.
El sexto es pedirle al Buda que no nos deje, que se vaya, que se quede aquí con nosotros.
So that's when we do long life prayers, for the gurus. That's a form of requesting the Buddhas not to depart.
Y la forma de pedirle a los Budas que no se vayan es las recitaciones de estas oraciones en donde se les desea larga vida a los Budas.
The gurus. Praying for the long life of the gurus.
Rezar por la vida larga de los gurus.
And then the seventh is dedication of merit.
Y la séptima es la dedicación del mérito.
I respectfully pay homage with fierce and longing faith of the 3 types to you, the glorious Guru, Lord of the 4 kayas. With my body, speech, and mind I make offerings of all these established things, outer, inner, to one who offers that which is offered, and the act of offering, if it invisible in essence, this being so, I make this offering of the great single taste, free from elaborations. Grant me the accomplishment of effortlessness. I lay bare the impairments and breakings of the vows of the three vehicles and rejoice in your liberating deeds. Please turn the wheel of Dharma in accordance with the capacities of those to be trained and remain here for as long as samsara has not been emptied. I dedicate the merit accumulated in the 3 times to the welfare of wandering beings. Now we pray to the lineage masters.
Ahora oramos a los maestros de linaje.
I supplicate you, the Dharmakaya, great Vajradhara of the 6th family. I supplicate you, the 85 Indian Mahasiddhas. I supplicate you, Tili Pragyapadra. I supplicate you, Narokyana Siddhi. I supplicate you, Marba of Lodra, the translator. I supplicate you, Mila Shepa Dorje. I supplicate you, Dao Shonu of Dapo. I supplicate you, the 3 Siddhas of Kam. I supplicate you, Dorje Gyalpo of Padu. I supplicate you, Jetsun Dorje Peldra. I supplicate you, Supreme Refuge Jigten Sungun. I supplicate you, Dharma Lord and Shri. I supplicate you, Kenchen Sutrim Dorje. I supplicate you, Onchen Sonam Trapa. I supplicate you, Chenga Trapa Jungne. I supplicate you, Chumo Dorje Trapa. I supplicate you, Toka Rinchen Senge. I supplicate you, Samche Trapa Sonam. I supplicate you, Chuni Dorje Rinchen. I supplicate you, Tuku Dorje Gyalpo. I supplicate you, Nyani Chuki Gyalpo. I supplicate you, Shenyen Tundru Gyalpo. I supplicate you, Rinchen Pelgi Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Chogyal Rinchen Pelzam. I supplicate you, Rinchen Chuki Gyatso. I supplicate you, Gyalwan Kunga Rinchen. I supplicate you, Jetsun Rinchen Putso. I supplicate you, Rinchen Nambar Gyalwa. I supplicate you, Tenchen Pelgi Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Chokle Nambar Gyalwa. I supplicate you, Tsume Chogyal Punso. I supplicate you, Chukchen Dashi Punso. I supplicate you, Jetsun Koncho Rinchen. I supplicate you, Rixin Choki Drapa. I supplicate you, Koncho Trinle Namgyal. I supplicate you, Koncho Trinle Sampo. I supplicate you, Trinle Tundru Chogyal. I supplicate you, Koncho Tenzin Jodu. I supplicate you, Tenzin Chuki Nima. I supplicate you, Kyabda Peme Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Jamyan Chuki Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Jamwan Chuki Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Rinchen Tempe Zegen. I supplicate you, Gyalwan Tuje Nima. I supplicate you, Rixin Nuden Dorje. I supplicate you, Jetsun Chuki Lojo. I supplicate you, Gyalcho Shive Lojo. I supplicate you, Jetsun Dharmakara. I supplicate you, Trisab Tenzin Tukten. I supplicate you, the Dapoka, you protectors of wandering beings. I supplicate you, my kind root Guru. In the next section is a beautiful and profound prayer. And in this prayer, all the stages of the path from the beginning until Mahamudra is achieved is laid out very clearly, and as well as all the faults, all the contradictions that we see in our lives. This is all kind of brought out very clearly.
En la siguiente sección, entonces va a haber una oración que es muy bella y muy profunda, en la cual se va describiendo los diferentes estadios, ¿cómo se dice estadios? ¿Ah? Estadios, los diferentes estadios del camino. ¿Ah? Y además todas las contradicciones en lo que estamos diciendo que queremos lograr y lo que estamos haciendo.
Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on the rarity of their freedoms and endowments. I still squander away my life. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on impermanence and death. Fixate on composite phenomena as permanent. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on the unmistaken nature of cause and effect. I still pervert what to adopt and what to abandon. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on the sufferings of cyclic existence. Take the way to the lower realms. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I safeguard the vows of individual liberation. I still lack renunciation and the determination to be free. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate as my parents. I still have bias attachment to friends and aversion for enemies. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I cultivate loving kindness and compassion. I still hold on to envy and enmity. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I cultivate aspiration and action. I still focus only on my own welfare. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on my body as the deity's exalted form. I still cling to ordinary perceptions. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I have counted the mantras as we recited. I still waste away my life force. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I cultivate the samadhi of moon in the water. I still solidify things as real and substantial. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I conclude by dissolving in the subsequent stage. I still purify and confess superficially. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on my own mind as free from elaborations. I still have conceptual attitudes. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion,
reckless and mundane, although I cultivate not grasping at whatever arises. I still affix an artificial watchfulness, look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I cultivate resting freely in the natural state, I still amplify artificialities, look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I meditate on unity beyond conceptions, I still get carried away by the masses of likes and dislikes, look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, I supplicate you who are my refuge protector in this and all other lives, physician who removes the chronic diseases of samsara, hero who vanquishes the enemies that are afflicted emotions, sun which dispels the darkness of ignorance, moon that protects from the heat of suffering, jewel which fulfills all our needs and desires, Guru who are all inclusive and all sufficient. I supplicate you from the depths of my heart, with compassion swiftly heed me, effortlessly bestow your blessings. Grant me now and on this seat naturally accomplished feast of the two benefits. I am endowed with both merit and devotion. Do not leave my hopes unfulfilled. Don't cast away my devotion in vain. Don't let my supplications vanish unanswered. Don't be indifferent with your compassion. Refuge and protector in this life, in the intermediate state and beyond. Whatever occurs, joy or sorrow, good or bad, only you are my hope. Look upon me with eyes of compassion. You alone are my hope.
This prayer, you can insert in any practice that you do, whether it's Tara, Genesi, Manjushri, you can just put it in there,
Esta oración la pueden insertar en cualquier práctica que hagan, ya sea de Tara, de Chenrezig, cualquier práctica que ustedes hagan.
Yeah. So now we continue on. I supplicate you, Supreme Refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, Compassionate Karwang Punchoratna. I supplicate you, Gentle Protector, Gyutru Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, Supreme Refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, Compassionate Karwang Punchoratna. I supplicate you, Gentle Protector, Gyutru Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, Supreme Refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, Compassionate Karwang Kunchoratna. I supplicate you, Gentle Protector, Gyutru Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, Supreme Refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, Compassionate Karwang Kunchoratna. I supplicate you, Gentle Protector, Gyutru Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, Supreme Refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, Compassionate Karwang Kunchoratna. I supplicate you, Gentle Protector, Gyutru Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, Supreme Refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, Compassionate Karwang Kunchoratna.
I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyultru Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwan Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyultru Dharma Kirti. Supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwan Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyultru Dharma Kirti.
Garwan Konchorana was the first Kyabgon Chetsang Rinpoche, and present Our Holiness is the seventh Kyabgon Chetsang.
Garwan Concho Ratna es el primer Chetsang Rinpoche y His Holiness es el séptimo.
Gyultru Dhamma Kirti was the first Chungsang Rinpoche, and the Chungsang Rinpoche today that is in Tibet is the eighth Chungsang Rinpoche.
Gyultru Dharma Kirti es el primer Chungsang Rinpoche y el que está vivo actualmente en el Tíbet es el octavo.
Did you say that he composed the bulk of the Look Upon Me From Afar?
Yeah.
Right?
Here, compassionate Garwan identifies Koncho Ratna as the emanation of Avalokiteshvara.
Garwan Concho Ratna
No, compassionate Garwan.
Okay, compassionate Garwan Concho
No,
Ratna.
compassionate Garwan.
Compassionate.
This expression, compassionate Garwan,
es la emanación.
shows us, that Koncho Ratna is considered as the emanation of Avalokiteshvara.
El decir el Garwan compasión, compasivo. Garwan compasivo quiere decir que Concho Ratna es la emanación de Chenrezig.
So compassionate Garwan is a general reference to Avalokiteshvara. Ningje Garwan in Tibetan. Ningje Garwan. Then, gentle protector. Gentle protector. When Tibetans see that, they know, you're talking about Manjushri. So Dhammakirti is the emanation of Manjushri.
Cuando se dice que es el gentil protector, se está hablando de Manjushri, lo cual quiere decir que Gyultru Dharmakirti es la emanación de Manjushri.
So the Chetsang Rinpoche Tulkus, they are all emanations of Avalokiteshvara. The Chungsang Rinpoche Tulkus, reincarnate lamas, they are all emanations of Manjushri.
Quiere decir que todos los tulkus de Chetsang Rinpoche son emanaciones de Chenrezig y que todas los tulkus del protector gentil son emanaciones de Manjushri.
So we continue. From this life onward until awakening is reached, other than the three of you, you victors, Father and Sons, I have no other hope. Don't lose your compassion and give up on me, as there are none like you, kings, you victors, Father and Sons, you are all that I need, my only hope and reliance. I supplicate you with fierce and strong devotion from the utmost depths of my heart, without delay or indifference.
existence, look upon me with your eyes of primordial wisdom. After this life, while I am in the intermediate state, draw me out with your hook of primordial wisdom and compassion.
Master of Sages. So we can pause here, actually. So in the next section, the kind of miraculous activities of these three lamas are explained.
En la siguiente sección, las actividades
Miraculous activity.
Milagrosas. Todas las actividades milagrosas de estos tres maestros van a ser explicadas, van a ser descritas en la siguiente sección.
It explains, where Jigten Sungön, what he did, what he promised, and where he is now. It also explains like where, Konchoratna, who he was, where he went after that life. Other than the fact that he continued to emanate as, the Chetsang Tukus, but also he's in some Buddha land.
O sea, va a describir todas las actividades, por ejemplo, quién es Jigten Sungön, sus actividades, tanto en su vida, en esta tierra, como donde están actualmente. Igual también con Chetsang y Chetsang.
Yeah, so this section, you can just read, rather than chant. Then we go to physical texts. You go to page 132.
Esto lo pueden leer, no hay necesidad de que lo canten. Y ahorita vamos a la página 132.
Then, if you have the PDF, now you should go to page 41.
Si tienen el texto PDF, es en la página 41.
PDF. Thus are these three victors, Father and Sons, the gathering and embodiment of the ocean of Kagyu Gurus, Siddhas and all Yidams, Dakinis and Dharmapalas, with wisdom, knowledge, loving compassion, exalted activities, and protective powers. By your blessing, bless me and all sentient beings, so that our minds turn to the Dharma. Bless us so that the Dharma turns into the Dharma. Bless us so that the Dharma enters the path. Bless us so that the path clears confusion. Bless us so that confusion dawns as wisdom. These lines here, these last 5 lines here, are known as the 4 dharmas of Gampopa.
Estas últimas 5 líneas son conocidas como los 4 dharmas de Gampopa.
Why does the 4 dharmas of Gampopa here have 5 lines?
¿Por qué las 4 dharmas de Gampopa tienen aquí 5 líneas?
It's not that hard to count, right? At least up to 5,
No es tan difícil de contar, por lo menos hasta 5.
So if you look, it says, by your blessings, bless me, so that bless me and all sentient beings, so that our minds turn to the Dharma. ¿Dónde está? 132.
Yeah, 132.
Here.
Dice, por tus bendiciones, bendíceme a mí y a todos los seres sintientes, para que nuestra mente vaya hacia el Dharma.
So the 4 dharmas of Gampopa that we now kind of most familiar with, this is the first one.
Esta es la primera línea de lo que nosotros estamos acostumbrados a los 4 dharmas de Gampopa.
But the earliest versions of the four dharmas of Gampopa is not like this. It's not this line. The earliest ones that we have is the second line. Bless us so that the dharma turns into the dharma.
Okay. Entonces, en las primeras versiones de los cuatro dharmas de Gampopa, esta no es la primera línea, sino que es la segunda. La primera línea es que nos bendiga, que podamos lograr que el dharma se convierta en dharma.
So the first line, Locho Sudrova Jinjilop, that one, the first line, may our minds turn to the dharma. That version turns up maybe 100, 200 years after Gampopa's time.
Esta segunda línea, que aquí aparece como la primera, aparece como unos 200 años después de Gampopa.
Someone decided to do some editing.
Alguien decidió hacer, editar.
An editorial hand turned up and decided, it sounds better to say it that way. Maybe, we don't know.
Quien lo editó consideró tal vez que se oía mejor de esta manera, no lo sabemos, pero bueno, eso sucedió.
You said 200 years?
Something like that, you know. Basically, the point is, probably Gampopa didn't phrase it like that.
Lo importante es saber que no fue Gampopa quien lo escribió de esta manera.
Yes. Instead, the earliest versions of the four dharmas have it as Chocho Sudrova Jinjilop, which is may the dharma turns into the dharma.
Sí, la primera línea en las primeras versiones dice que logré que o sea, lo que estamos suplicando es que el dharma se convierta en el dharma.
The Lama who composed this text decided to put both there.
El que hizo
So then we have 5 lines.
El que decidió esta versión es la que dice, por eso sí la incluyó, por eso es que aquí hay 5 líneas.
And so, may my mind turn to the dharma. Okay, quite clear. Yeah.
O sea, es bastante claro de que nuestras mentes vayan hacia el dharma.
The later edited version.
Es la edición posterior.
See, you all say, oh yeah, I understand. May my mind turn to the dharma? Yeah, sure.
Esto es fácil de entender.
Then, the original, may the dharma turn into the dharma. You know, what?
En cambio, esto de que el dharma se convierta en el dharma, eso sí ya nos hace pregunta.
There, it's saying,
Ahí lo que dice es,
the dharma that we practice can easily go in the wrong direction.
lo que quiere decir es que el dharma que practicamos se puede ir en una mala dirección.
And so it needs to remain going in the right direction.
Tiene que mantenerse en la dirección correcta.
So famously, Gampopa said, even though the dharma is so precious and is the only way to solve the problem of samsara, even though the dharma is so amazing, if you don't practice the dharma right, the dharma becomes a cause for rebirth in the 3 lower realms.
Si no llevamos el dharma en la dirección correcta, podemos estarlo practicando de la manera incorrecta y nos puede llevar a los 3 reinos inferiores. Esos son the inferior.
3 lower realms.
En los 3, nos puede llevar, si la practicamos de manera incorrecta, nos puede llevar a los 3 reinos inferiores.
So it's so important to not let our dharma practice turn into something else.
Por eso tenemos que poner mucha atención que la práctica, nuestra práctica del dharma, no se convierta en algo más.
That our dharma practice should not be influenced by the 8 mundane concerns.
Que nuestra práctica del Dharma no tiene que estar influida por los 8 preocupaciones mundanas.
Out of a desire for gain, and out of a fear of loss.
Que no esté manejada por el deseo de las ganancias ni el miedo de la pérdida.
I heard, these days, because it's become more and more rare, relatively speaking, in many Buddhist cultures, there are lesser and lesser monks. Yeah.
Sí, es importante porque a pesar de que esto de la práctica del Dharma es tan importante, cada vez hay menos monjes.
Because, in the past, families have lots of sons, and then they will give, a few to the monastery.
Como las familias de antes tenían tantos hijos, podían darle unos cuantos a los monasterios.
Like many Catholic cultures, it was also a mark of honor and an obligation that every family, every generation, at least have to provide one son for the monastery.
Lo mismo sucedía en la tradición católica anteriormente, que al menos uno de los integrantes de la familia tendría que ser ofrecido a la religión.
In a way, it's a pretty good life for that child, Don't have to work in the fields.
En algún aspecto es algo bastante beneficioso para esta persona, por ejemplo, que no tiene que trabajar en los campos.
Learn how to read.
Aprenden a leer.
Doing something that people respect.
Hacen algo que respetan las personas.
The world has changed,
Pero el mundo ha cambiado.
So everywhere in Buddhist cultures, we are seeing a decline in the number of monks.
Pero eso ha cambiado y por eso vemos ahora cada vez más cómo va declinando el número de monjes.
In my home country in Malaysia, we never had a lot of monks to start with. So the numbers are getting even smaller.
En su tierra natal, Malasia, nunca ha habido, nunca ha sido muy alto el número de monjes, pero cada vez son menos ahora.
So I've heard of many cases where when someone becomes a monk, before long, they get proposals from monasteries. You're like, what proposals? Monasteries that are short of monks would go basically get what we call headhunters, Yeah, these headhunter firms will go and say, if you come to this monastery, all the bedrooms are air conditioned. Why don't you come here? And even I can give you a sign-up fee of $50,000 if you join, because there's so few.
Son tan pocos los monjes ahora que cuando los monasterios se enteran de que alguien es monje, comienzan a ofrecerle los headhunters. Yo creo que en español decimos lo mismo, ¿verdad? Entonces los headhunters les llegan y les ofrecen de todo de los monasterios con tal de que vayan a ese monasterio. Les ofrecen que ahí tal vez los cuartos tienen aire acondicionado y hay veces que hasta se les ofrece como $50,000, como $50,000 con tal de que se vayan a ese monasterio. Así será de poco los monjes que hay actualmente.
In different degrees, this is happening. So you can see, Dharma can easily kind of go in a different direction. Like ourselves too, Dharma going in wrong direction. It happens.
Podemos ver así entonces qué tan fácil es que el Dharma se vaya en direcciones incorrectas, tanto desde el lado de esto de los monasterios y los monjes como de nosotros y nuestra práctica.
So anyway, this is just briefly why this particular four dharmas of Gampopa have 5 lines.
Por eso es que esta versión sí volvió a poner las 5 líneas de los 4 dharmas de Gampopa.
So now we continue. If you have the physical text, it's 133 now.
Ahora continuamos. Si tienen el texto físico es en la página 133
Or 42 in the PDF.
o 42 en el texto PDF.
Bless us so that all our karmic and afflictive obscurations and our cognitive obscurations and habitual obscurations are cleared now. Us so that they are cleared on this seat. Bless us so that they are cleared in this session. Bless us so that our mind streams are cleansed. Bless us so that our mind streams are fully liberated. Bless us so that we are liberated now. Bless us so that we are liberated on this seat. Bless us so that we are liberated in this session. Bless us so that the supreme samadhi arises unmistakably in our mind streams. Bless us so that it arises now. Bless us so that it arises on this seat. Bless us so that it arises in this session. Bless us so that the unmistaken supreme primordial wisdom arises in our mind streams. Bless us so that it arises now. Bless us so that it arises on this seat. Bless us so that it arises in this session. Now we take the 4 empowerments directly from the Guru.
Ahora tomamos los 4 empoderamientos directamente del Guru.
The verb here is important, taking empowerment.
El verbo es muy importante aquí, tomar el empoderamiento.
Because the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are always giving empowerment. Whether there is a ceremony or not, yeah, whether there is a special program or not, the gurus, the idams, they are always giving empowerment.
Es importante decir tomar porque los budas y bodhisattvas siempre están dando empoderamientos.
We have to take empowerment.
Nosotros tenemos que tomar esos empoderamientos que siempre están dando los budas y bodhisattvas.
So it's an active act. You cannot be passive about it.
Es activo, no podemos ser pasivos sobre este tema.
So later, when His Holiness is here to give the empowerment, you have to take an active role.
Así, cuando His Holiness venga a dar el empoderamiento, tenemos que tomar un papel activo.
Yes. So that means, to whatever degree you are able to, you need to follow the steps that are being described.
Esto quiere decir que hasta donde podamos, sigamos los diferentes pasos del empoderamiento.
To whatever degree you are able to. So that's also important.
En cualquier grado que nosotros podamos hacer.
Don't get frustrated if you cannot. If you cannot do as well as you think you should.
No se sientan frustrados si no hacen lo bien que ustedes consideran que tendrían que estar haciendo.
Because it's also about the container, right? So don't get too greedy either. And say, whoa, there's so much content there, and then I'm not getting it.
También se trata del contenedor, en no decir, la que tanto contenido el que me están dando y no lo estoy pudiendo tomar.
So you cannot be an upside down container.
No puede ser un contenedor volteado.
So if you are like that, that means no matter how much, the Buddhas, no matter how much His Holiness tries to pour, nothing goes in. So that means you're not open to it. You're not present. You're not open to it. So that's upside down.
Sí, si está el contenedor está volteado hacia abajo, entonces por más que le echen cualquier cosa, pues no se va a sostener ahí. ¿Ah? Es preferible estar abiertos a obtener lo que podamos tomar.
And then they say also don't be a leaky container. So this time it's not upside down, it's right side up, but it's leaking. Then no matter how much is poured, it will just leak out.
Tampoco ser un contenedor agujereado, ¿ah? Donde todo lo que se vierta sobre él salga por abajo.
And then they say don't be a dirty or poisonous even container.
Tampoco ser un contenedor sucio o envenenado.
So that means having wrong thoughts or wrong ideas about what this empowerment is, what it does, despite understanding what the Lama is saying.
Entonces eso quiere decir que no tengamos esas ideas fantasiosas que tengamos erróneas sobre lo que es el empoderamiento y teñir esta actividad con estas ideas erróneas que tenemos.
So for example, in Vajrayana, there's a lot of symbolism and coded information in Vajrayana. In the expressions it uses, in the paintings that it presents, all of that.
En el Vajrayana hay muchos símbolos, ya sea en las pinturas, en el código con que se habla.
So, despite the Lama giving the empowerment saying, for example, like today, Hevajra and Nairatmya in union is the bliss that destroys lust. That's the meaning of that union. Right? So despite saying that to you, maybe you have some funny ideas, of what Vajrayana is, and you think, I take this empowerment, I will attract a lot of interesting partners now, and I can get a lot of bliss, That's a poisonous, container.
Como por ejemplo, cuando se da el empoderamiento y se habla de Hevajra y Nairatmya en unión, se está hablando del gozo, ¿se dice en español? Gozo, sí. Se está hablando del gozo ahí. La persona puede comenzar a pensar en algo más ahí, como por ejemplo, al hacer este empoderamiento puedo hacerme tan atractiva o atractivo que voy a poder tener todas las parejas que yo quiero.
Yeah, because there's so many things that so many people, are saying, oh, Tantra is this, Tantra is that. Yeah, maybe, there's Hindu Tantra, and there are many, many different types of Hindu Tantra. So then you say, I like that type, but I want to take this empowerment to achieve that goal there, then you are perverting, poisoning the contents.
En el Tantra hay muchas versiones de lo que se habla sobre lo que es el Tantra, sobre todo en el Tantra hindú, ¿verdad? Puede haber que haya algo de todo esto que se habla. El problema es que yo creo esto que dice el Tantra, un Tantra hindú, que yo oí algo de lo que se hablaba y voy a tomar este empoderamiento para lograr eso que dice ese Tantra hindú. Eso es envenenar lo que se está haciendo.
Tantra is just, not a search you should do at work on your computer. It get you in trouble.
El Tantra
what is it? Not safe for
Not
work?
safe.
Yeah.
El Tantra no es algo que vamos a obtener en Google, ¿verdad? Buscando en la computadora.
There's a lot of strange, funny ideas, And these strange, funny ideas is not completely without basis. It's just there are different types of tantras. And they're not to be confused and lumped together just because the same word is used, you know.
Hay diferentes tantras en la computadora, digamos en Google, y lo que no tenemos que hacer es mezclar esas ideas extrañas que leemos ahí, que puede ser que sí tengan algo ahí como de verdad en esos tantras, pero las maneras en que son interpretadas solo van a hacer que nuestra práctica se vaya cabalmente por la dirección incorrecta.
Yeah, the goals of Vajradhara and the goals of Shakyamuni cannot be different.
Las metas de Vajradhara y de Buda Shakyamuni no pueden ser diferentes.
What Shakyamuni taught and what Vajradhara taught, they cannot be different.
Lo que nos enseñó Buda Shakyamuni y Vajradhara no puede ser diferente.
They are the same person.
Son la misma persona.
How can they talk, you know, with two tongues?
¿Cómo pueden hablar con dos lenguas?
So to take empowerment is an active process.
Tomar un empoderamiento es activo, es algo activo que hacemos.
It can only happen if we make an effort to try to understand what is going on.
Va a tener un efecto si nosotros entendemos lo que está sucediendo.
So one way of thinking, you know, of understanding the role that empowerment plays in Vajrayana practice is to understand the three kind of contexts of empowerment.
Para poder entender lo que está sucediendo en un empoderamiento, tenemos que entender los tres
Aspects of
contextos.
The three contexts of empowerment.
Los tres contextos del empoderamiento.
There is what is known as the ground empowerment.
Está el que se conoce como el empoderamiento básico.
Basis.
De la base del empoderamiento.
Empowerment at the basis, in the context of basis.
El empoderamiento en el contexto de la base.
So there it's referring to the ritual empowerment, but not always ritual, but that empowerment where the guru introduces you to the basis of deity practice, which is your deity nature, your Buddha nature. So that's the basis or ground empowerment.
Alguien lo puede traducir en español, todo lo que dijo. It's difficult, what you say. I'm trying to understand it myself. Can you repeat it?
El gurú presenta en la parte ritual, el gurú presenta en la parte ritual las bases de la práctica diaria con la deidad, viéndote tú también como parte de esa deidad.
And revealing to you the basis of your deity practice.
Revelándole a nosotros las bases de la práctica de la divinidad.
Introducing to you that basis, which is your deity nature or Buddha nature.
Es introducirnos a la naturaleza búdica en nosotros, o la naturaleza divina en nosotros.
So normally it's done in the context of a ritual, of a ceremony.
Y usualmente se da dentro de un contexto ritual o de una ceremonia.
Famously, in the case of Naropa receiving this empowerment from Tilopa, it was in the form of a smack on the face with a shoe.
Como por ejemplo en el caso de Naropa y Tilopa, el empoderamiento fue cuando Tilopa le dio a Naropa en la cara con un zapato.
But they did not create a ritual based on that.
Pero no hicieron un ritual basado en eso.
Otherwise, imagine, that every empowerment gets slapped on the face with a shoe.
Entonces imaginan en todos los empoderamientos que todos fueran abofeteados con un zapato. In Catholic Church, when you are confirmed, they smack you in the face.
Oh, well, maybe that lineage went to the Catholics. I don't know.
Lo que está diciendo que en el catolicismo, en la confirmación, sí le dan al que se está confirmando una bofetada en la cara. No muy dura, ¿verdad? Pero sí se la dan.
Then, on the basis of that, you cultivate path empowerment.
En base a eso, entonces cultivamos el camino del empoderamiento.
So the practice we're doing now, right now, that's path empowerment.
La práctica que estamos haciendo ahorita es el empoderamiento del camino.
So we need the continuity of that,
Y necesitamos la continuidad de eso,
uninterruptedly,
sin haber sido interrumpida.
continuing from the basis empowerment that we receive.
Comenzando desde el empoderamiento básico que recibimos.
Then, at the point of us becoming Buddhas, like fully becoming Buddhas, that's the result empowerment.
Desde ahí hasta el que podamos convertirnos en un Buda, que sería el resultado del empoderamiento.
So the way Vajrayana tells, the story of Siddhartha's becoming fully enlightened, it says that after the Maras attacked, the Buddhas, attacked the future Buddha, sitting under the Bodhi tree, after the Maras came and attacked and tempted him, everything, when he dispelled all of them, right? And then in that moment, the Buddhas of the five families appeared to him to give him the final result empowerment. And it's the result and it's the receiving of this final empowerment that then he became fully enlightened.
En este camino, cuando el resultado se dio después de que todas las maras llegaron a tentar al Buda, entonces en el momento que él supera todas estas tentaciones, las 5 familias de los Budas vienen y le dan el empoderamiento. Y él puede convertirse ya en un Buda, en un totalmente iluminado.
And so this is the resultant, the fruition empowerment.
Este es el fruto del empoderamiento.
Empoderamento del resultado.
Sí, empoderamiento del resultado.
So ground, path, and fruit.
Entonces, de la base, del camino y del resultado. Son los 3 empoderamientos.
So now, taking the 4 empowerments.
Ahora tomaremos los 4 empoderamientos.
If you have the physical text, it's at the bottom of 134.
Si tienen el texto físico, está abajo en la última línea de la página 134.
In the PDF, it's 45.
En el PDF es en la 45.
Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your forehead center, white lights emanate, dissolving into my head, immediately, fully cleansing my body and my waking state of their obscurations and planting
See further
Nirmanakaya, the exalted body, Vajra, the Guru's exalted body, and my body are inseparable. This is the indestructible appearances, emptiness, Kaya Siddhi. Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your throat center, red lights emanate, dissolving into my throat immediately, fully cleansing my speech and my dream state of their obscurations, and planting the seed for the Sambhogakaya, the exalted speech, Vajra, the Guru's exalted speech, and my speech are inseparable.
This is the indestructible sound emptiness, Vaka Siddhi. O sublime, glorious Guru, from your heart center, blue lights emanate, dissolving into my heart immediately, fully cleansing my mind and my deep sleep state of their obscurations, and planting the seed for the Dharmakaya, the exalted heart Vajra, the Guru's exalted heart and my mind are inseparable. This is the indestructible clarity, emptiness, Chitta Siddhi. O sublime, glorious Guru, from your navel center, golden lights emanate, dissolving into my navel immediately, fully cleansing my equipoise mind. Moment of transition of their obscurations, having ripened the Swabhavika Kaya, the three primordial wisdom Vajras, and my body, speech, and mind are inseparable. This is the indestructible bliss, emptiness, Sarva Siddhi.
After taking the four empowerments from the Guru, now that the solution of the Guru in front.
Después de tomar estos 4 empoderamientos, viene la disolución del Guru que tenemos enfrente.
The Guru and the retinue then dissolves completely and is absorbed into ourselves.
El Guru y quienes nos acompañan, que se disuelven, entonces se disuelven en nosotros.
Then this is the completion stage without signs.
Esta es la etapa de la completitud. Esta es la etapa de la completitud. And you say
completion stage,
yeah.
Without signs.
Sin signos.
The retinue dissolves like breath on the mirror, disappearing. The glorious Guru's exalted body dissolves and furthermore turns into beautiful masses of five-colored lights. Like 100,000 suns, these lights dissolve into oneself. Immediately you are blazing in various colors of light, bright lights and rainbows fill the 3,000-fold universes. This is the indivisible unity of clarity and emptiness, just as it is primordially free from elaborations, the great middle way, seal and perfection. Don't be confused by the names, their meanings are identical. The indivisible unity of primordial wisdom. Eva Maya Alalaho. Virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi.
the empowerment today will start at 1 o'clock. So please try to be back here before then.
El empoderamiento hoy va a ser a la 1 de la tarde. Por favor, estén aquí a tiempo, un poquito antes.
So a few things to point out that might be helpful.
Algunas cosas a las cuales hay que ponerle atención que podría ser beneficioso.
So first is, you are going to be introduced to Hevajra-Nairatmya today.
Primero, hoy va a ser el día en que van a ser introducidos a Hevajra y a Nairatmya.
So it's good, to be clean and dress well.
Así que es bueno que estén limpios y bien vestidos.
Famously, Kyabgon has told people to leave because you dress like a beggar when normally you're not dressed like this. Why you're coming to the empowerment looking like this?
Y así fue en un empoderamiento uno de los lamas, no sé cuál es el nombre, hasta él dijo que salieran los que no estaban vestidos de forma apropiada.
We all pretend to be Milarepa, when you come to Dharma practice, Then when you get home, you turn on your 60-inch TV,
Todos pretendemos ser Milarepa cuando estamos practicando el Dharma en estas actividades, pero cuando vamos a nuestras casas, entonces prendemos la gran televisión que tenemos.
If you're consistently like Milarepa, no problem,
Si fueran consistentemente como Milarepa, no habría ningún problema.
Yeah, so how much hardship, you would go through to go to a Taylor Swift concert, and how much effort you are going through to come to an empowerment. Then you look and you know where you are.
Pongan atención a cuánto esfuerzo ponen cuando van a un concierto de Taylor Swift y el esfuerzo que ponen cuando vienen a un empoderamiento. Ahí pueden ver.
They say that outside the context of governments, she is the biggest contributor to the growth of local economy, wherever she turns up.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, de alguna manera sus conciertos ayudan mucho a la economía del lugar donde ella se presenta.
The tech guys are jealous.
Yeah. So anyway, so there's that, right? Then, so basically, what you will experience is, of course, first there is the cleansing and the purification
Está también
before coming into the space.
la purificación que viene hacia nosotros.
Especially in the Hevajra empowerment, you always receive whatever you receive with your left hand.
En el empoderamiento de Hevajra, sea lo que sea que reciban, siempre tiene que ser con la mano izquierda.
Because Hevajra is a mother tantra.
Porque Hevajra es del tantra materno, tantra madre.
So mother tantra, everything you do with your left hand.
En todo tantra madre se recibe todo con la mano izquierda.
When you receive liquid, right? Almost always is to be drunk, not to be thrown at your neighbor, not to be thrown here left and right, not to clean your face. Almost always. There are exceptions.
Casi siempre cuando se recibe el líquido con la mano izquierda no es para tirarlo, ni para ponerse en la cabeza, ni en la cara, sino que es para tomar.
Except for when you're coming in the door, that one, you still drink, but sometimes you're asked to, not literal, not drink, but to imagine you are cleansing and spit out.
Menos el que dan cuando entramos.
When you're entering the door.
Cuando estamos entrando en la puerta, ese sí se toma, pero no se traga, sino que se escupe a un lado.
Yeah, so we'll see, whether we have to spit or not.
Miraremos si tenemos que escupirlo o no.
Yeah. But otherwise, when you're seated, you're already seated, right? And water comes around, and poured, that one you drink, you don't spit.
Cuando están sentados y cualquier líquido que se los pongan en la mano, ese sí se traga.
And it's just against physics, right? To do this and try to get water. I have seen this so many times.
Va en contra de la física recibir el líquido con la mano así, aunque él ya ha visto que ha pasado muchas veces.
Maybe you're trying to see if the Lama has power or not, I don't know.
Tal vez están queriendo saber si el Lama tiene el poder o no.
Also, both hands is not going to work very well for a little bit of water.
También dos manos no va a funcionar para un poco de agua que van a recibir.
So please, create a cup-like shape.
Así que por favor crean una forma como de copa con la mano.
Then there will probably be either His Holiness will just do this, or he will say we should go pour from a conch, and this is also water. He will hold up a conch shell at concha.
A veces,
little conch.
Yeah, o sea, a veces, sometimes it's not going to be liquid. He will only show the.
Yeah, so he will just do this.
A veces lo único que va a hacer es con una concha hacer así este movimiento.
That's like a samaya water.
Esa es como agua samaya.
And then they will say, like in drinking this water, you're understanding that now you're entering the path. It says that it's either go up or you go down.
Al tomar este líquido estamos entrando en el camino.
No more fooling around.
No más andar ahí tonteando.
No more walking around in circles.
No más andar caminando en círculos.
Up or down.
Para arriba, para abajo.
Not to terrorize,
No para aterrorizarse.
But it's a means to make you decide now, what are you choosing? Are you choosing happiness or are you choosing suffering? There is no other. If you're not choosing happiness, you're choosing suffering. That's it.
Tenemos que saber qué estamos decidiendo. Si estamos decidiendo por la felicidad o estamos no es para aterrorizarnos, porque nosotros somos los que tenemos que decidir si es para obtener la felicidad o para sufrir.
Sometimes, all this samaya talk, people talk about going to the hell realms, there's that, a little kind of terrifying,
Cuando se está hablando en la forma samaya, muchas veces se habla de ir a los reinos inferiores.
But without, kind of like causing that kind of terror, Buddha already taught it, At the first teaching he gave, called the Four Noble Teaching and the Four Noble Truths, he says, there are two options, suffering and happiness. What do you want?
Sin necesidad de estar aterrorizando a nadie, ya desde Buda, Shakyamuni, cuando habla de las cuatro verdades nobles, dice que uno decide, ¿verdad? Ahí tiene dos opciones, la felicidad o el sufrimiento.
So either up or down.
O sea, hacia arriba o hacia abajo.
So anyway, this point, And of course, when lamas come to the West and give this empowerment at this point, they don't say so much, now either up or down.
Los lamas cuando vienen no dicen algo así tan explícitamente hacia arriba o hacia abajo.
Then at some point, of course, at different points, we will have to repeat after His Holiness, requesting for the empowerment. So that's part of the idea of you have to actively take empowerment.
Y vamos a tener que repetir después de His Holiness el requesting, la solicitud del empoderamiento. ¿Ah? Es una posición activa la que tenemos ahí.
Then in terms of what's here, right, there are two kind of focal points. One is the Vajra Master, which is His Holiness, which you should see in the form of Hevajra-Nairatmya, like the Tanka back there, but only 2 arms, both of them. We were not able to find a good quality 2-arm form of Hevajra. So you're in luck. This empowerment, the Hevajra only has 2 hands. This one has many hands. But otherwise, the way he stands, everything is the same. Just 2 arms. So you are to imagine, to visualize, to experience the Vajra Master as Hevajra. Then there is another Hevajra that is represented by the Tanka and the shrine. So there is the Vajra Master as Hevajra, and then there is Hevajra as Hevajra. The Vajra Master as Hevajra is like the midwife delivering you as Hevajra afterwards. Source Hevajra is giving birth to you, to all of us.
Por un lado está el Vajra Master, que es His Holiness, al quien tenemos que visualizar como Hevajra con Naratmya. ¿Ya? Y además de es de 2 brazos, aunque esta imagen tiene varios brazos, tenemos que imaginarlo solo con 2 brazos, ¿ya? Y además de visualizar al Vajra Master como Hevajra con Naratmya, también en el altar va a estar Hevajra. Entonces el Vajra Master que vamos a visualizar como Hevajra y Naratmya es como la partera que va a permitir que nosotros nazcamos, vamos a nacer como Hevajra.
At the core of this ceremony are what's called the 4 empowerments.
En lo principal, como decimos el core,
The main part.
La parte principal son los 4 empoderamientos.
The first one is called the vase or the vase, the pot empowerment, the container empowerment.
El primero es el contenedor base, ¿cómo? El empoderamiento del vaso.
Like the flower vase, And the vase is a symbol of this body.
El vaso es el símbolo de nuestro cuerpo.
Actually, the 5 aggregates, not just the physical body, but the mental, emotional body, the 5 aggregates.
Actualmente los 5 agregados, ¿verdad? También la mente.
So the first empowerment, at the first empowerment, the nature of these 5 aggregates is introduced to you as the 5 Buddha families.
Estos 5 agregados nos son introducidos como las 5 familias Buda.
The next empowerment is called the secret empowerment.
El siguiente empoderamiento es llamado el empoderamiento secreto.
That has to do with the speech and the energy level.
Eso tiene que ver al nivel del habla y de la energía.
And so the practices that we did yesterday also kind of related to that. Of course, using the body.
De alguna manera las prácticas que hicimos ayer están relacionadas con este empoderamiento.
Actually, many of the exercises that we did yesterday in the traditional context should be done with yourself, imagining, experiencing yourself as deity, not ordinary form, actually, in the traditional context. But His Holiness has taken those things out and simplifying it for us to use in a more regular way. But in the traditional context, many of those exercises should be done while visualizing yourself as deity.
Muchos de los ejercicios que hicimos ayer tradicionalmente, en un contexto más tradicional, se hacen imaginándonos a nosotros como la deidad. Pero His Holiness ayer lo sacó de ese contexto para que nosotros pudiéramos practicarlos de una manera más.
So second empowerment, the secret empowerment, is where your speech and energy, they're interrelated, is revealed to you as pure.
En este empoderamiento secreto se da tanto el habla como la energía que nos es revelada de una forma pura.
So often, but we don't know, we'll see at that point. So back up during the vase empowerment. So at some point, His Holiness holds up the vase, and you imagine, you think, it's being placed on your head, and empowerment is being poured, water poured out of the vase, go into your body, all of that.
Regresando al empoderamiento del vaso, tenemos, His Holiness va a enseñar ¿cómo sería?
Hold up the bumba.
Va a enseñar el bumpa así, y en ese momento nosotros vamos a imaginar que nos lo ponen en la cabeza y que nos echan el líquido del empoderamiento.
The secret empowerment is given then through the liquid, the nectar, the elixir.
En el secret, en el empoderamiento secreto, ahí nos lo van a dar the liquid in your hand.
Yes.
Con el líquido que nos van a poner en la mano.
Probably that will also be done at the end, but symbolically, His Holiness will.
Puede ser que se haga al final realmente poner el líquido, pero primero lo va a hacer His Holiness de una manera simbólica.
Then the third empowerment is called the wisdom knowledge empowerment.
El tercer empoderamiento es el empoderamiento de la sabiduría.
So there, that empowerment will be given through showing you an image of a Dakini.
Y eso se va a dar mostrándonos la imagen de una Dakini.
So the Dakini is an embodiment of wisdom.
La Dakini es la encarnación de la sabiduría.
So the wisdom, knowledge, empowerment, you could also translate as knowing wisdom.
Sabedoria conhecedora.
Okay, el empoderamiento de la sabiduría conocedora.
So you're shown this image of the Dakini and saying, the true nature of this Dakini is wisdom.
Enseña la imagen de la Dakini y dice que la verdadera naturaleza de esta Dakini es wisdom.
And so then you join your mind with the wisdom Dakini.
Y unimos entonces nuestra mente con la Dakini de la sabiduría, con la sabiduría de la Dakini.
Then the fourth empowerment is called sometimes just called the fourth empowerment, sometimes called the word empowerment.
El cuarto empoderamiento, que muchas veces es llamado cuarto empoderamiento o el empoderamiento de la palabra.
There are certain words given by the Vajra Master to kind of reveal the final nature.
El Vajra Master va a decir entonces ciertas palabras que van a revelar la naturaleza.
Depending on different empowerment texts, sometimes the Vajra Master might hold up a mirror, sometimes they might hold up a crystal, sometimes they might do a certain mudra.
Dependiendo de la versión, el Vajra Master va a enseñar un cristal o va a enseñar un espejo o va a hacer un cierto mudra.
So that's the basic steps that we're going through.
Esos son los pasos básicos por los cuales vamos a pasar.
Especially the way Kyoba Jigdensum explains this, he says that the four empowerments are not like four sets of nature being revealed. They are the very same nature being revealed in a more and more profound way.
Lo que nos está revelando el Hevajra-Master es la naturaleza cada vez en forma, nuestra naturaleza cada vez en una forma más profunda.
According to Jigten Sungren's way
De
of
acuerdo a
explaining
Jigten Sungren, como lo explicaba Jigten Sungren,
these 4 empowerments.
estos 4 empoderamientos.
Also, like most of us think, the 4th empowerment is the most important. He says the first one is the most important.
Jigten Sungren, como muchos dicen que es el 4º empoderamiento el más importante, Jigten Sungren decía que el primero es el más importante.
Couple of reasons.
Por diferentes razones.
If you don't get the first one, the other 3 is not possible.
Si no toman el primer empoderamiento, los otros 3 no van a ser posibles.
More than that, the first one already has everything.
Además, el primero tiene todo,
But we are too dumb.
pero somos bastante tontos.
We're too confused.
Estamos demasiado confundidos.
So, the Buddhas, the Vajra Master, have to do it a second time, a third time, a 4th time.
Por eso el Hevajra-Master lo tiene que hacer una primera vez, una segunda vez, una tercera vez, una cuarta vez.
By the 4th time, they are basically saying, come on.
La cuarta vez se dice, come on.
Why are you so difficult?
Son demasiado difíciles.
We should all just hang out in Nirvana, What are you doing here?
Que están, they should be in Nirvana.
We should all
Wow, we
be
should-
hanging out. The
nosotros
Buddhas are saying to
deberíamos
us.
estar todos en Nirvana, ¿qué estamos haciendo aquí? ¿No?
So that's, and there will be this red ribbon that you tie at the beginning of each of these 4.
Al principio, cada uno de estos 4 empoderamientos nos van a dar un listón rojo que nos tenemos que poner en la cabeza.
This is like representing that before the empowerment, I don't see, I don't understand. So that's called like a blindfold. But you don't need to blindfold. You just tie like a ninja,
Este listón significa que antes del empoderamiento estamos ciegos, ¿verdad? No podemos ver.
Don't tie a knot, okay?
No
You
vayan a
don't
hacer
want
un nudo.
confusion to be so tight.
O sea, estamos confundidos, no vemos. Entonces, por lo tanto, no se lo vayan a apretar demasiado, hacer un nudo demasiado apretado, porque no se trata de apretar la confusión.
You start, yeah.
Y no se ponen los ojos tampoco. Está aquí.
So you start each of the 4 empowerments by, His Holiness will say, now put on the blindfold. So then you put it like that, and kind of tucked to the back of the ears. Yeah.
Cuando diga el Hevajra-Master que nos pongamos el listón, nos ponemos el listón, pero no lo amarramos, sino que nos lo detenemos poniéndolo detrás de las orejas.
So that when it's time to take it off, you can just easily take it off without going.
Así que cuando digan que se lo quitan, se lo puedan quitar fácilmente y no tener que hacer todo lo que acaba de decir.
Scissors. You can just take off. So that maybe 4 times we'll do that.
Entonces 4 veces vamos a hacer esto.
I was lazy. I didn't look at the empowerment text before start talking about this. So, but just generally like this, okay?
Él realmente no leyó el texto antes de hablar sobre esto de los empoderamientos, pero que más o menos generalmente esto es lo que sucede.
Before the vase empowerment, yeah, which is the first one, right? Before that, there probably will also be. You have to imagine the Vajra Master leading you by hand, like holding your hand, taking you to the mandala, to the front of the mandala. Like basically coming to the palace to receive empowerment, to take empowerment.
Antes del empoderamiento del vaso, tenemos que imaginar que el Hevajra-Master nos está jalando para introducirnos en el palacio del mandala, donde vamos a recibir los 4 empoderamientos.
And that time is when you put on already with the blindfold. So the symbolism of, being guided by the Vajra master to the palace, the mandala, the palace of Hevajra, in order to be reborn, in a way you could say, to be born again like Christians, as Hevajra.
Entonces tenemos que imaginar que nos está jalando, jalándonos hacia el palacio del mandala de Hevajra, donde vamos a renacer nuevamente en la forma de Hevajra.
You will hold like a flower in your hand.
Van a sostener una flor en la mano.
When you come to the front door of the mandala, the eastern door, then the guru says to you, behold, Vajradhara, Hevajra. Then you throw the flower, you throw the flower into the mandala as an offering, you make prostrations to greet Hevajra.
O sea, entramos con una flor en la mano al entrar al palacio y la vamos a tirar como ofrendándola a Hevajra.
Then you enter the mandala.
En la puerta este es donde lo vamos a hacer, en la puerta este, en la entrada del mandala, y después de hacer la ofrenda, entonces ya entramos nosotros al mandala.
In more detailed empowerments, you will go to each gate, and the Lama will show you the different faces, different aspects of Hevajra. So sometimes Hevajra also represented with 4 faces. So from this door, you will see this face of Hevajra. From the back door, you will see this face. From this door, you'll see this face. So at each of them, you make prostrations, and then you enter into the mandala.
No solo va a ser, en otras versiones, no solo se llega a la puerta este donde ofrendamos la flor y hacemos las postraciones, sino que vamos a las 4 puertas del mandala, del palacio, y ahí nos va a mostrar el Vajra Master las diferentes caras de Hevajra.
Then when you finally enter into the mandala, that is within the mandala, within the palace, the 4 empowerments then take place.
O sea, en las 4 puertas vamos a ofrendar la flor, vamos a hacer postraciones, y cuando ya entramos al palacio, al mandala, es donde vamos a recibir los 4 empoderamientos.
The gist of what happens in the mandala, okay? If you cannot follow all the 4 empowerments, even as hard as you are going to try, right? Remember this. The gist is, Hevajra is going to say to you, I am you, and you are me. And then you say, what?
Ok, si no pudieran seguir todo esto, los 4 empoderamientos, todas estas etapas de los empoderamientos, realmente lo que se puede hacer, el gist, ¿cómo traduzco gist al español? La esencia. La esencia realmente de esto es que Hevajra nos va a decir, ustedes son Hevajra, y, o sea, ustedes son como yo soy tú. Pero como Hevajra, ¿verdad?
I am you, and you are me. Then, long or short empowerments basically have this structure.
Entonces, ya sea que sean empoderamientos largos o cortos, tienen esta estructura.
The very short one is a very special shoe held with a very special hand, put on a very special face.
El empoderamiento corto es un zapatazo en la cara muy especial.
Special shoe held this special hand, landing on special face.
Un zapato especial que va a caer en una cara especial con una mano especial,
So this is interdependence.
de la interdependencia.
So I don't know, maybe at the end of the empowerment you still don't feel anything. You can see if His Holiness would slap you with it.
Si al final del empoderamiento no han sentido nada, tal vez His Holiness pueda darles con el zapato en la cara.
But in the US you have to sign a form first.
Uno tiene que firmar antes autorizando esto.
It's called a release form. I will not sue you for slapping my face with a shoe.
Firmando diciendo que no lo voy a demandar por pegarme con un zapato en la cabeza.
American Samaya. Okay, that's it.
Eso
1
es todo.
o'clock we'll start, so come back before 1.
Vienen antes de la 1, por favor.